A lot of people say they want a career change, but what they are feeling is discomfort. And I want to caution you against jumping right in and updating your resume, right? Today, I want to talk about a few questions you should really be asking yourself before you decide it's time for a career change. So let's chat. So let's start here and acknowledge the fact that a desire for change doesn't always mean it's time to leave. Do you know what I mean? Like before you get to that point, just because you're itching for change, maybe consider some other options. So let's kind of talk in a little bit more detail about some of the questions I think you should be asking yourself before you jump ship. So, sheet of paper, your notes app, whatever it is that you want to use for journaling today, because I think this is more of a journaling exercise and not just a YouTube video that you can watch. What is it specifically that is not working? And you'd be surprised at the various answers I've heard in response to this question. Sometimes it's the position itself, right? Sometimes the day-to-day duties just not working. Maybe it's not what you thought it was, or maybe it is what you thought it was, and you no longer desire to move forward with these types of activities in your day-to-day, right? Like it's just not your thing anymore. And that's fine. But what is it specifically that you don't like? Is it the manager? So listen, I'll tell you this early in my adult years, my adult working years, I had a manager and man, I remember it like it was yesterday, actually. I remember her name. I remember how I felt around her. Yeah, maybe it's just the manager. Maybe you don't need a complete career change. Maybe in some cases, you don't need to leave your current company to get away from that manager, right? Depending on the size of your company, right? You may be able to move to another department and not have any interaction with that person. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's the workload, right? Maybe you thought it was one thing, it was presented as one thing. Now that you're in it, it's too much, or they've been adding to it steadily. I know so many of you know what that's like. Maybe other people are no longer with the organization and you've had to pick up the workload from them. So is it the workload? Is it the money? Because that doesn't mean you need to change careers. Maybe depending on the path you're on, maybe there's a way to take it to the next level without a complete career change, right? So, is it compensation? Now, there are some career paths where there's certainly a ceiling and you're not going to make too much more than that, right? That's certainly a thing. So, we can talk about what that looks like. Maybe it's the culture of the organization and not necessarily your career or your role. So, first question, what specifically is not working for you in this moment? And I want you to be very precise when you answer that question, right? Second question, is this a role problem? Is this an environmental problem or is this a season problem? And I'm going to tackle this last one, right, in this video. So, the season problem. There have been times in my life, and I'll use myself as an example. There have been times in my life where I could not do anything else, right? I could not add anything else to my plate. I was at capacity and then some. And that will have you thinking maybe your job is the worst um, because it is adding to that, right? And you start looking for things that you can control. So maybe this is just a season. Maybe you truly do love the work you do, and maybe you need a break. Maybe you need a sabbatical. Maybe you need FMLA. Maybe, right? You just need to step away and regroup. because the season has required so much of you that everything else just looks like straight trash. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how else to say it, but it's not ideal. How about that? Um, so maybe it's a season thing. I think the other thing I challenge for some of you, and this could be number three, what do you need more of? Do you need more relief from doing certain activities, from certain aspects of the role? You just no longer desire to do that. Do you need more growth? Right? Is this a space where maybe if I step into a more senior level, then I'd feel a little bit more aligned as opposed to a complete career change? Maybe you need more stability. Different answers lead to different decisions, right? And I think, again, it's real easy to say, I'm ready for a career change. Christina, can you update my resume? Like that is not the answer. And to that, I would tell you, no, 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 no. Not until we figure out what we're doing. Um, so that's question three, right? What do you need more of? So question four, am I moving toward something or am I just moving away from discomfort? Am I running from something, right? Rarely are you running, but am I running from something instead of looking at this as an opportunity for growth and alignment? Um, Figure out what that is. And some of these questions, like you might want to sit with for a minute. Some of these questions you might want to revisit in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, next quarter, and say, yeah, I know I answered this way, right? But I kind of want to change my answer because now I'm in a space where I have less on my plate. And so I want to be clear about what it is that I truly, truly want. And I'll say this, a desire for change doesn't always mean it's time to leave. I can't stress that enough. Wanting change doesn't mean it's time to leave. Sometimes it just means you need to create room for more honesty. Yeah, room for more honesty. So I'll say this, if you're wrestling with these kinds of questions and you want a bit more support, you want strategic clarity, that is exactly what we cover in the clarity session. I will link that below for you. It's conversation, and then I follow up with a snapshot, your action plan, and then you're off to the races. So, if this resonates, my hope is that you will like, my hope is that you will share, and my hope is that if you are on YouTube, you will go ahead and hit that subscribe button. On any other platform, go ahead and follow me there. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.